What's up, everyone, and welcome to Clear Talk. We're back here at the fire pit again. We have breaking news. The memorandum of understanding has been agreed on. All right. That's what's coming out. We have Trump posting on True Social. We have Drop Site News has been releasing information from Iranian foreign minister to the Pakistani leadership or in the negotiators. So we have the official agreement, official agreement to the memorandum of understanding, which is to include, from my understanding of reading through everything, the immediate cease of all firing and attacks and everything throughout the entire region, including Lebanon. Okay, that's the key here, including Lebanon. We already know that Israel bombed Beirut yesterday, which even Trump had to come out and say that was pretty fucking bad, trying to blow up the negotiations, as they always do. All right, but cease of aggression and attacks in all areas by all parties, including Lebanon, and the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, along with the lifting of the U.S. naval blockade. That one is huge, because Trump has been stating this whole entire time that until the official, like, full-on agreement that's supposed to come later, they were going to hold on to the blockade. All right, but hey, negotiators are apparently doing something different, which Trump has not been a part of. So yes, the official opening up of the blockade, which again, in Trump's post, he even stated that he was agreeing to this for the blockade to be lifted. So here's the key though. The key is that this is not going to be signed. This is not going to be signed until Friday. We have a whole 5 days before the official signing, which is supposed to be in Switzerland. All right. So we have 5 days for Israel to fuck this up. Pretty much. Because even though they've agreed to it, it has not been signed and put on paper until Friday. And I think this was purposeful. I think this was Iran's way of making sure that the U.S. was going to be completely committed to this, okay? And that they were going to make Israel commit to this. And that's going to be the key, all right? That's going to be the key. We have 5 days for complete ceasefire to happen, for the opening up the Strait of Hormuz and the removal of the naval blockade. And then Iran has agreed to sign on to this memorandum of understanding, which will then give us another 60 days of negotiations and works throughs on the other issues, like the nuclear issue and stuff like that, which again, they have hard lines on. Okay, that's what's been holding up this whole entire time. The U.S. has hard lines. They have hard lines that they have had from the beginning. You know, they are, I think there's a potential that this memorandum of understanding also lifts some sanctions, about 25 billion in sanctions, possibly. That hasn't been like completely confirmed, but that was one big sticking point for this memorandum of understanding. And then within the 60-day period after this agreement, that would be part of the negotiations, as well as from the Iran standpoint, to have all sanctions, first and secondary sanctions, removed from them for an agreement. I mean, Iran is stating full on in the media that this is a complete win for them, and even the further 60-day agreement, that would be continued push for benefits on them. Which, I mean, frankly, at this point, I wish it well for them, to be able to get out from underneath the bullshit that they've been doing. And quite frankly, I'm hoping that the pressure here is going to restrict Israel, because at this point, I'm no longer of the mind that Iran is the problem. All right. Now, do they have issues? Yes, there are internal issues in Iran around their leadership and how, you know, the authoritarianism that they have on their society. True enough. I mean, there's multiple countries that have that problem. But do I think that they are like the pivotal, like pinnacle problem for the Middle East, causing so much chaos and havoc throughout the Middle East? This entire process has proven that, for the past 3 years, has proven that that is not the case. That Israel is the problem when it comes to the Middle East, and they are the ones continuously causing havoc and chaos. And so now here's the thing: we have 5 days for Israel to continue to try to fuck this up. All right, and so even though we have, you know, the white smoke at the White House lifting, you know, coming out, like, you know, showing the agreement has happened, and Trump making his truth post announcement, and everybody else agreeing to this 5 days before the actual official signing of this agreement. Okay, and there are so many things that can happen. So many things that can happen. Again, one of which is Israel, which has been the problem all along. If they do not stop their hostilities in Lebanon, if the United States, if Trump and this war crime regime cannot put a stop to itself and Israel, more importantly, Israel in Lebanon, if they can't tell Netanyahu to stop, if they can't tell the IDF to stop, the Ben Gavirs, the Schmotriches, and everybody else to stop their chaotic, homicidal, genocidal tendencies in trying to eradicate and bomb and annex every fucking body around them, if they cannot get some sort of hold on Israel, then this is all going to be blown the fuck up within 5 days, and we're going to be right back to square one. So we're going to have to see what happens. We're going to have to see just how much the U.S. actually controls Israel, or whether it's the other way around. So stay tuned for that. Again, we have an agreement, so hostilities should be ended. We should have the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, the end of the blockade, and as Trump said, let the oil rain free, or whatever the fuck he said, you know, to hopefully try to get the oil industry going again, and the chaos and issues with all, you know, globally can start to level out. Again, it's going to take a long time. It's going to take months for all this to even out, if not years, for all of it to even out. But again, that all banks on hostilities actually ending, and this agreement actually getting signed, and then we actually getting 60 days of further negotiations, and then a final agreement that will bring some sort of condition that everybody can agree on, and get their, you know, imaginary victories from, so that everything can start to get back to normal. We'll have to see what happens. So anyways, thank you. I just wanted to quickly get on here and talk about that. Again, the fair warning here: you've got to watch Israel. All right, if there's anybody going to blow this up and keep this from actually happening, it's going to be Israel. Something has to happen. But it's gonna. Will the bigger people prevail here? Will Iran and the U.S. here actually like ignore Israel's threats and stuff and actually decide to sign on and agree to this? And then there'll be, you know, will that wind up happening? And then we'll have this sort of backing out of the U.S. if Israel continues its hostilities, and then it actually be a one-on-one between Iran and Israel. I mean, that's the possibility too. But would U.S. actually have the balls to do that? And be like, and say, Israel, yeah, it's your fault. You said you wanted to be independent. You said you were a sovereign country. You said that you had the capabilities on your own to handle whatever the fuck you wanted to handle. Well, then, here you go. We are cool with them. Y'all apparently are not. So, y'all fight it out. I don't know. That could be a possibility. Do I see that happening? Probably not. But that's going to be the key here. Is anybody and who is going to actually bring restraint to Israel? That's going to be the question. So we're going to stay tuned to it, but hey, we do have some sort of movement here, and I give it to everybody in the region coming together, the negotiators on all sides, even the United States, because clearly there was a lot of pivoting and movement from the U.S. even without Trump's agreement at times, probably, or pulling him along, even though he had his, you know, he had his media moments and shit, and spewing lies and spewing all his back and forth whiplash comments. But I feel like bigger heads have prevailed here somewhere along the line. Hopefully within time we'll figure out who all those heads are. I mean, clearly the Iranian negotiators, the Pakistani negotiators, Qatar negotiators, I think Saudi Arabia also was pretty heavily involved here. You know, whoever is really doing all the diplomacy here, and being the bigger heads, prevailing through all the threats and the just ignorant comments from outside people, again, like Trump, like Netanyahu, like, I mean, and the aggressive war hawk nature of these leaderships. Bigger heads have somehow prevailed, and we have the movement towards an agreement. And so that's big. That's big, and hopefully that will continue to move forward. So thank you for joining me, and thank you very much for any support that you give. And I mean, all the links are in the description there. I gotten kind of, sometimes I say stuff about it, sometimes I don't. I mean, it is what it is. But thank you for any support you give for the channel, and subscribe, like, all that good stuff for future updates and future talks and discussions, whatever we have on this channel. So thank you again, and peace. ClearTalk, I'm out.